The following podcast is brought to you by the Johners Podcasting Network, found exclusively at wrestlingwithjohners.com.
Hi, this is Brad Marcus, and welcome to the 100th episode of Toilet Side Wrestling Talk. You may have noticed recently that I am no longer in a bathroom, and that's due to a move. I've been relegated to a closet. I hope to one day move back into a bathroom, but that would depend on me getting a divorce. Let's get on to today's guest. He's from Hampton, Virginia, and began his in-ring career in 2013. Trained at the Chikara Wrestle Factory and has worked for such promotions as Chikara, Wrestling is Fun, Excellence Professional Wrestling, Carolina Wrestling Federation, Mid-Atlantic, Pro Wrestling Magic, Beyond, Lehigh Valley Athletic Council, Camp Leapfrog, and you know what I was about to say. In 2021, Pro Wrestling Illustrated ranked him number 488 on their annual Top 500 list. He shared the ring with the likes of Oleg the Usurper, Logan Easton LaRue, Avery Good Professional Wrestler, New York Jets Hall of Fame quarterback Joe Namath, Rex Lawless, Atomic Super Thunder Frog, Orange Cassidy, Mike Verna. I'm not going to say it. So let's welcome today's guest, someone who's never been accused of a crime of passion. I give you Pig Daddy Cool Boar.
Tonight at Cat Has Got Your Tongue, I was pushed to the ultimate of my limits against Flex Rumble Crunch. In the match of my career, I was able to pull it out and come out on top with a victory. Another victory, I should say. In fact, what is that? 11, 12, 13, 14. It's a lot of victories here in Excellence. But I've got at least 3 more to go. 3 more victories is all that I need to claim what is rightfully mine. And that is the Championship of Excellence. September 10th, Excellence puts on another fantastic event. Beeline Frenzy, where now there's a battle royal for everybody that I've beaten along my path to have their own opportunity to enter the Tournament of Excellence. Whoever wins the battle royal, I hope it's somebody new. Somebody who I have not defeated yet. That way it's one more soul I could potentially crush on my warpath to the Excellence Championship. There's 7 other athletes who will find out the hard way that the Boar is war.
Hey, Boar, how are you?
Doing great. Thanks for having me on. A lovely, Wednesday evening.
Totally.
Excited to be talking to you.
Oh, well, I was very, really looking forward to talking to you all day. Just because, I work at like a memory care community. So a lot of times I'm not getting nice conversations like this. So I was really looking forward to it. I'm going to ask you first some questions that you've probably gotten tons of times, but just for my information. So then we'll get into things. Do you ever wear the mask around in public, like at the grocery store or something? Like, has there ever that happened?
No, that's never happened.
Okay.
There's, I guess, a hashtag masked in public for some people. I go unmasked.
Oh, okay.
It's, I don't know, it gets sweaty in here. It's hard to breathe.
I
probably
imagine.
scare some children. So, I go unmasked.
So, like, have you, first, have you purposely done or, didn't mean to, scare, the crap out of someone?
It's usually babies sometimes with the mask is pretty hit or miss. Sometimes they like it because it's fluffy on top and, make animal noises. And sometimes they really dig that. And then sometimes not so much. So.
Did you do you have children of your own?
I do. I have one baby girl.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so you've tried this on her.
Yeah, she's
Uh,
receptive to the mask.
Okay,
If
used to
anything,
it?
she's more indifferent. So I'm like, okay, that works.
Oh, okay, okay. Um, did how many of them do you own? Because you were saying that, sometimes it gets like sweaty in there.
Yeah, I have 3 different masks.
Mhm.
One mask for each set of gear that I've had. So uh,
Okay, okay.
yeah,
And is it easy to clean?
yeah, decent enough. Just turn it inside out and give it a good
Oh,
scrubbing
okay.
every now and then.
Okay, and then my last question, that's maybe stupid or naive. Did you have any attachments to pigs or swine, boars, or did you
No,
just
but
like ham or?
no, I've grown to appreciate them though, because it's been good to me in the pocketbook. So
Yeah, yeah,
I've,
for
I've
sure.
I've grown a soft spot for pigs and all swine
Yeah.
alike.
All right. Well, we're gonna circle back to that in a little bit. Oh, my last stupid one. I'm sorry, I almost forgot. Is there anybody that you know that you consider or would describe as a sow?
As a what?
A sow,
What is that?
female, female pig.
Oh, female pig. You look at you educating
You don't
me.
have to give names or anything. Well, in third, I pigs. I feel like a little kid saying pigs are my favorite animal, but like
Oh,
I've
sweet.
always like collected pigs and like figurines and stuff like that. Um, so a sow is a female pig. You don't have to name names, but like if someone had a gun to your head, and would you be able to name someone?
Yeah, it's probably 10 or so, but
Oh,
no,
okay.
no, just kidding. Yeah, gun to head, I'd probably, flub an answer if I needed to, but
Sure, sure. Okay. So did you grew up in Virginia?
yes, yeah. That's my origins is down south, and
Okay.
yeah.
And did you where in the state were you?
I'm from the 757 area, so down
Okay.
south. Yep,
Okay.
yep. So Virginia
Um,
Beach, all that good area.
oh, is Virginia Beach? They have a lot of concerts
Yeah,
there.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
a pretty happening town.
So did you live like when you were growing up? That's where you grew up.
Yeah, yep.
And what kind of like neighborhood did you grow up in?
Pretty diverse, I guess middle of the road, middle class ish,
Mm-hmm.
slightly below middle class. But it's a very diverse area, which I don't think I really understood the importance of at the time. But now, as a
Sure.
full grown adult, I appreciate it a lot more. I was lucky to live in an area that had black lawyers, black doctors, uh, Indian people, natives,
Sure.
all sorts of different races and ethnicities in positions of power. Um, and that was not something I didn't really understand, wasn't so common.
Yeah.
But that area is very diverse, and there's, I guess, a good amount of diversity in the position of powers, in positions of powers.
And why is it so particularly diverse? Is there a certain reason? Like,
I think it's a big military area, so I think it
okay,
attracts people of all different nationalities and ethnicities to the area. Also, I think a lot of people come down from Canada. People come in from since it's based on the eastern seaboard line.
hmm
I just think it's a good landing spot for a lot of people that are coming over from other countries and want some
oh,
of the beach
okay.
life.
Did you go to the beach every day?
No. Another thing, like, I guess I didn't know how how good I had it being in a
Yeah,
beach
yeah.
area. Um, but yeah, no. Maybe a couple times a
hmm
month, if even
Oh,
that.
okay.
So, but yeah, it
And
wasn't like Saved by the Bell when they living on the beach, or whatever.
yes, totally. What brought your parents to Virginia? Did they grow up there?
No, no. Originally I am born outside of Philly, so that's
Okay.
where we were for a while. Moved down to
Mhm.
Virginia and eventually moved back to the Philly area for my wrestling training.
And why did you guys go to Virginia? Or not you guys, you had no choice, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, beats me. I couldn't tell you. I
Oh,
don't think they could
really?
really tell you. I think they were just looking for, kind of, I guess, a fresh start of sorts, or
Sure.
just looking to get out of the area, because they were both ingrained where we had moved from outside of
Mm-hmm.
Philly. So I think they just wanted a fresh start somewhere.
Oh, that's cool. And then they picked a really great area.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
what did, if you don't mind me asking, what did your parents do for a living?
My mother is a dietitian, and
Okay.
my father works. He's just kind of a little jack of all trades, but mostly a lot of hands-on stuff. So, uh, painting, drywall,
Oh,
construction.
cool.
He's a bit of a handyman. He can do a little bit of everything.
Did any of that rub off on you?
0%.
Really?
Yeah, not
Did he try to get you to, teach you about these things?
a little bit, but a lot of times, those kind of like creative people aren't the best at teaching. So it's very like I'll just do it myself. So,
Sure,
um,
sure.
but yeah, not. I don't have really a handy bone in my body.
Well, you're doing something right.
Yeah.
Did you have brothers and sisters?
Do I have two sisters?
Where age wise are they older?
Younger, both younger.
Oh, okay. By a significant amount?
Oh, about 10 years or so. Yeah.
Oh, between you and the next one?
Yeah. Yeah.
Are they twins? If
No,
you don't
no,
mind.
they're pretty
Okay.
close apart, but not twins.
Okay, okay. So did you interact much with them? If you were 10 years old when one came around.
I grew up very close to my sisters.
Oh,
We've
okay.
we've had a great relationship. We've always been close. There was, I guess kids always have a little bit of fighting, but
Sure.
I think because of the age difference, I was more so protector than
Hmm.
pest. So we've always had a good relationship, though.
Oh, that's great. And did they like kind of look up to you? Not as like a parent, because you had two parents, but like as like the older brother to get advice.
Uh, they're both really independent, free
Okay.
thinkers. So, um, I I think they do. I guess look up to me the fact that like I did go do something.
Mm-hmm.
Go try something, go take chances doing professional wrestling. I think they do look up to that, and I guess in my personal life, I can be a bit of a I can be a little bit of a disturber sometimes.
Okay.
Trying to buck the status quo. So. I think that might have rubbed off on them because
Oh.
they both do the same.
And so like what kind of things were you interested in as a kid?
Wrestling,
Mm-hmm.
Batman, and sports. Those are the big three.
Oh, okay. So in Virginia, who do you follow? Like is like your home team?
So I never really adopted any of the Virginia or Southern teams.
Oh, okay.
For baseball, you'll have a lot of Orioles fans there, but you'll also have a lot
Mm-hmm.
of Braves fans because that's the closest team.
Oh, okay.
Trying to
So
think.
what are you?
I'm a New York Yankees fan. Uh,
Okay.
and for football, I'm a Kansas City Chiefs fan.
Nice.
And
Oh, you're gonna have a
uh,
nice next like 10 years, of
yeah, I'm pretty
on
good. I'm pretty set up.
Sundays. Yeah, yeah. I'm a Bear fan, and
Oh,
yeah, there's no guarantee. I mean, I know they're not going to the Super Bowl in the next 2 or 3 years, at the very least. Um, anyways, so how would your friends describe you when you were a kid?
uh, pretty easygoing, kind of quiet, uh,
Okay.
but friendly,
Mm-hmm.
active.
Okay. Did you play sports?
Yeah, growing up, I played basketball, baseball, softball, volleyball, soccer, a little bit of tennis.
Oh,
Um,
geez.
yeah, dabbled in golf a little bit. So
Oh, wow.
anything that I could get my hands on, I tried to play.
Do you own golf clubs?
Do not anymore. No.
Okay. Okay. And I was gonna say, when was pro wrestling like introduced into the mix?
As far as like training or like when I started watching.
When you started watching it for the first time.
My mom has baby photos of me watching wrestling, so it's just something that I was just drawn to, like a
Were
magnet.
either of them interested in it? Like prior to you coming into their lives?
Not like extremely, just if it was on or if it happened to be on, they'd put it on, but so I guess casual at best. Um,
Okay,
but
okay.
yeah, then it was never like something that was pushed on me or anything like that. If
But
anything, they put up with it and acted interested
okay.
just because it was my main interest.
Oh, that's really nice of them, as
Yeah.
opposed to saying, "Oh, this is fake." You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah,
um,
I get that a lot. A lot of my peers,
mhm.
their parents, even while they were training for wrestling, their parents would, not come to shows or, go years and years without seeing them. And my parents were like, "When are you wrestling? Let's go. We're bringing
Yeah,
everybody."
yeah, yeah. Did your I forgot to ask you this? Did your parents come to like your games, or
Yeah, yep.
like
Yeah,
so?
for the most part, the ones that they could make, they were very supportive in
Uh,
all my athletic events and wrestling. They were always there.
hmm And did your sisters ever come out?
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Um, so they got to, yeah. So your sisters got to see you in your prime, you know what I mean, your best shape.
I'm still in
Um,
it. Yeah.
yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. So how were you as a student?
C's get degrees. That's my motto.
Mm-hmm.
Do the least amount of work to get by. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
History, physical education, health. Those are always strong points. But anything
Uh-huh.
English was also another strong point.
Yeah.
But
You
uh,
sound like you have like a really good grasp of it.
oh, thank you.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
What is that? I think America's the only country that requires 12 years of a language. So
Yeah.
um, hopefully I'm decent at English, but yeah, the other classes were just try your best to get by, and
Were your parents okay with that?
yeah, they would push me,
Mm-hmm.
do a little bit better in like math and science and other subjects I wasn't really so interested in or were a little bit tougher for me to grasp. But they understood. I put forth my best effort, and if my best effort was a C, then that's what it was.
That's fine. When was the last time you had to show somebody your high school grades?
Oh,
You know what I mean? Like, I don't think I've ever had to
yeah, I
show
don't.
him but my
Yeah,
parents my grades.
yeah, I don't think I ever had to show them.
Yeah, never really never really factored in to the rest of the life. Um, did you have like a plan then for after high school? As as it was getting closer to that?
Yeah, as I got a little bit older, started to grow. I think most kids, oh, I want to be a professional wrestler, professional athlete, or this or that.
Sure.
So being a professional wrestler was always at the forefront of my mind and something I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but then I hit a growth spurt. I shot up to about 6'4", so I was like, okay, I can, I got good height, and I was stupid skinny, like
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Durant
I,
level skinny in high school.
under 200 pounds?
Oh, definitely, yeah, yeah. I was
Oh
about
wow. Oh, like
one.
okay, Kevin
I was
Durant,
like
totally.
155, 160 when I graduated high school.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, I was pretty thin. So it took me a while to fill out and to actually put on weight.
Uh-huh.
But that was like when I grew, I was like, okay, I can, wrestling can become a reality.
And did your parents have an idea what they wanted you to do after high school?
I think they wanted me to go to college, go get a degree, and teaching or something that I was somewhat interested in. Like,
Mm-hmm.
physical education was something, and I was decently good at grade wise. So that was what I started to try to go to college for, but it just wasn't in the cards. Wrestling was all I
Yeah.
wanted to do.
So so wrestling is all you want to do. Do you remember the moment where you're like, I'm gonna pick up the phone or send the email?
Yeah,
And what
absolutely,
made that happen?
absolutely. So I was coming pretty close to, I wouldn't say flunking out of college, but
Mhm.
I had some C's and everything else was just struggling.
Mhm.
So I had a conversation with my mom. She asked me, "What is it that you want to do?" And I said, "I want to wrestle. I want to give it a shot." I was in my early 20s at the time, so
Mm-hmm.
I felt like, all right, it was kind of now or never.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when I got in, it was like get in as young as possible. That was still the mindset.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, got in and had her blessing, and she told me finish out the semester, and then look into wrestling school.
Oh, that's a very good supportive mother.
Yeah.
You know, did did you have many schools to choose from, or did you know where you wanted to go train?
Yeah, so I talked with my best friend, shout out at Not the Tool Man on Twitter, Tim Taylor, my childhood best friend, my best friend to this
Oh wow,
day. He's my brother.
wow!
Uh, so we were both always wrestling fans. It's what connected us.
It's
And
nice that you had that.
yeah, definitely.
Like
Uh, so we had a talk trying to think about wrestling schools, and I narrowed it down to like three. It was down to the Wild Samoans in
mm-hmm,
Allentown, the Ring of Honor Academy,
mm-hmm,
and the Chikara Wrestle Factory.
mm-hmm.
And so just looking at the schools, the Wild Samoans seemed kind of iffy. Much love for the Samoans, but as far
Mm-hmm.
as the school, I just couldn't find like a lot of info about it, and I think I even sent out like an email and never heard anything back. So like that
Oh,
was the end of
okay.
that.
Yeah,
Um,
sure.
yeah. So then it was really down to like the ROH Academy or
Mm-hmm,
Chikara Wrestle Factory, and myself and Tim sat down, kind of made a pros and cons list of the two schools, and the thing that made the Wrestle Factory stick out was one, the fact that the people that came from the school became characters and got onto the shows.
mm-hmm.
Looking at the roster, it's almost entirely, at the time was Wrestle Factory graduates. So that was
Okay.
important. And then the trainers at the time, the main person that swayed my interest was Claudio Castagnoli, now known as
Sure.
Cesaro.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my main reason for heading to the Wrestle Factory.
And what? And I don't want this to come across wrong. What made you think you could be a professional wrestler? You know what I mean? Like you had the size. Like what were the things that you were going to lean on?
So I remember I went to autograph signing at a mall,
Mm-hmm.
and Randy Orton was doing the autograph signing,
Okay.
and I think the person before me, he had like stood up for a picture, or something. He got a drink, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and I noticed like once he stood up and I was next in line, I was like, he's not any taller than I am, and he was much more lean at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I was like, okay, like I got some weight to put on, but just looking at him, obviously he's one of the greatest of all time now. But
Yeah.
at the time, I was like, for a body comparison for where I was like, I have a lot of work to do, but we're about the same height. We're built similar. If he can do it, that's kind of like encouragement for me.
Oh,
Because
okay.
I was afraid I was always going to be too skinny. But once I saw Randy Orton up close, again, this is before he really filled out because he was super young too. I mean, he was in his early 20s.
Sure. Oh, yeah. Sure.
But yeah, I think me and Tim went to, it was like a TNA house show before they really had house shows. It was ran with the NASCAR driver. I'm going to kick myself for not thinking of it. Um, Not Rusty Wallace. One of those NASCAR drivers.
Sure.
Jeff Jarrett, the NASCAR driver, did like a co-promoted event, and they did like a fan meet and greet ahead of time. And this was my, I think, junior year of high school.
Okay.
Might have been sophomore year, but one of those 2 years. And Rikishi was there,
Oh,
and
wow.
Rikishi was talking to somebody who was interested in being a wrestler, and we were right behind them. And Rikishi said, "If you can shoot a jumper, you can train to be a wrestler." And me being a basketball player, I'm like, well, if he said shoot a jumper, I can shoot jumpers for days. So, that was more encouragement that okay, I can do this.
Yeah. I want to jump back for a second. Did you and Tim go to shows growing up?
Absolutely, yeah. We went to a ton
See,
of
that's
shows.
what I wish I had. Nothing against my best friend, but like, that's awesome that you had like a partner to do that.
Yeah, and it worked out great because he was a little bit older than me. So now it's like
Uh-huh.
not a big deal. But at the time,
Yeah.
if I'm 15 and he's 18 or 17. Like, he can
Yeah.
drive, he can get us into places, you know, stuff that I couldn't do yet. So, excuse me, it was really like set up perfectly, because he was the only child at the time. I think his siblings were all like moved away and have siblings.
Hmm.
Um, so it was just him, and I was the only boy in my family. So we were, just made for each other.
Oh, that's amazing. That's like invaluable. Had you okay at this point, right before you're starting training, had you ever been in a wrestling ring before?
Had never been in a wrestling ring. Nope.
Okay. And were you aware of the extent of the independent scene?
Yeah, I had a pretty good grasp on the indie scene. I knew the Northeast was someplace I needed to be. That
Mm-hmm.
was the main reason I wanted to move back to the Philly area. I knew like Northeast, New England, Philly, that whole area was where all the action was happening. That's where I needed to be.
Okay. Okay. Um, so do you and Tim start on the same day
So Tim
training?
never started. He did get into the business, doing commentary and
Okay.
graphics works and a lot of behind the scenes work. He's kind of a jack of all trades behind the scenes.
Uh-huh.
He can book a little bit. I mean, he can do pretty much anything you need him to do.
Okay.
And, I keep trying to get him to take a bump one day. We'll see
Yeah,
if we can get him there.
totally.
But yeah, it was just me.
So on your first day of training, you're driving there. Are you nervous?
Yes, sweating profusely. Also driving into, because I lived about and still do live like 2 hours outside of Philly. So driving into Philly, not exactly knowing how bad Philly traffic was going to be. Like, I had prepared
Yeah.
for the worst, and that still wasn't good enough. So my first day, I actually rolled in like an hour late into training.
Oh my
Uh,
God, were you so nervous?
I was, but
Like because of that?
at the same time, I was like, it'd be one thing if I was like 10 minutes late, but the fact that I
Yeah.
was like an hour late, I was like, it is what it is. Like,
Yeah,
I can't
yeah.
do it. I couldn't, just leave 10 minutes early. No, like, there was
It's
nothing I could
almost the
do.
longer the better.
Yeah. Yep.
So did you miss the entire training for that?
I guess I missed up a good portion of the blow up drills.
Oh
um,
God.
yeah.
So you had to catch up to everyone?
So they got me in there probably the last hour or so of training,
Hmm.
and trying to think the first thing. When I walked in, the first thing I saw was Claudio and another wrestler sitting in a room watching a match going over tape. That was to my left, and I just couldn't
Okay.
believe how massive Claudio was.
Uh-huh.
And then I kind of heard like the sound of the ring. So I just kind of followed the sound and went into that room.
And did anything like shock you? Like either that you learned or you saw like the first day that you'd never even thought of?
Uh, no, and I think this is kind of, I take it as a sign, as like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I
Hmm.
felt very prepared. I felt very capable. I felt very confident, and in a way, I felt at peace inside the ring. Um, I felt prepared. I felt physically ready for everything that was thrown my way. And they didn't have me do too much my first day, but
Hmm.
um, it was it was perfect. It was exactly what I expected.
So how often were you training?
So at the time, the Wrestle Factory had beginners class, I think once or twice a week.
Oh
So
my
I'd make the
God.
drive into Philly once or twice a
Oh
week.
geez.
And then plus, Chikara ran pretty about twice a month, maybe 2 weekends a month at the time. So going to Philly to do ring crew, to break down the ring, to load up the truck, to either hop
Hmm.
in a car or hop in the truck, drive the ring to wherever we're going, set up, uh, all that good stuff. Paying your dues.
Paying your dues would that be your definition like of paying dues?
I think so.
Those
Yeah.
types of things.
Yeah. Especially when you're trying to get into a promotion that is so like close knit, in a
Hmm.
way, kind of a bubble. I think you have to prove your consistency, prove that you can be depended on.
Hmm.
My first weekend, there was a show in Tennessee, and I didn't know how I was going to make it down there,
Mm-hmm.
or that, carpool, get to know people, whatever. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I just knew I needed to be there. So I drove down by myself to the show and drove back home
How
for
long is that drive?
that weekend. So I think the first show might have been North Carolina. That was probably a 9-hour drive. And then
Oh my God, by yourself?
yeah, and then the next show was over in Tennessee. It was like 4 hours over. And
Jeez.
then I had a friend's house in Virginia I was going to stay at after the Tennessee show, thinking it was just a couple hours away. Turned out it
Mhm.
was 10 hours away. So then I put in home
Shit.
in the GPS, and home was like 11 hours away. So I was like, I guess we're just driving home tonight.
Oh my
And at the
God.
time, I was too young to like rent a car, rent a hotel room, like
Yeah,
anything like
yeah.
that. So I was just on my own. I was like, I gotta do the drive.
Did so once you're in the ring for the first time, how long does it take before you feel comfortable? If you even do feel comfortable yet.
I think that depends like person to person. For me,
Mm-hmm.
I felt comfortable day one. Um,
Oh wow.
Now I think that the levels of comfort vary.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, Chuck Taylor was doing some coaching at the time, and he was the first coach to like film our matches and have us watch it back. And so here I am in the ring thinking I feel comfortable, I know what I'm doing, and I watch myself and I just see my feet are moving all over the place and everything's an Irish whip because all I've watched is like Attitude Era wrestling the last couple of years. And, uh, just the work is very spotty. So I think the quality and the level
Mm-hmm.
fluctuates and improves over time, but I always felt comfortable in the ring. And again, I took that as a sign of, this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah, exactly. It may not be, other people may not feel that way, but it works for you.
Yeah, it was a negative at first. At the
How
time,
so?
Quack told me that he had never seen somebody so relaxed inside of a ring,
Uh-huh.
but made sure to tell me not in a positive, not in a positive
Oh,
way.
okay, okay.
I guess I was too chill,
Uh-huh.
so I had to work on the intensity and stuff like that.
Do you do like tape studies still?
Not in my own matches,
Mm-hmm.
but I
Is
still
it because you
watch.
can't watch your own matches?
No, not really. I think for my own stuff, my philosophy is wrestling's live and it's one take. That's how
Mm-hmm.
I prefer it to be done. I don't want it rehearsed to death. I don't want to go over a bunch of stuff. I think the art and um, the true professionalism is going out there with somebody, working together, putting
Mm-hmm.
on a great match, however long it may be or however short, and just having it be solid and everybody being safe and just going out there and doing it one time through, doing it live, instead of trying to remember everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just different styles. That style has worked out well for a lot of people, but for me, I like to go in there and just do it live, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. So as as it's coming up to your first match, how many how is your how is your move set going into your first match? Like, do you have much going on with that? Or is it you slowly build up?
Yeah, so I think my moveset kind of evolved at first. I was trying to like find myself in the ring, and it
Mm-hmm.
took me a long time to finally land on like, okay, who and what the Boar character is in the ring, because there's things that I can do in the ring, but
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't mean that the Boar character would do them in the ring. So,
Sure.
if anything, Boar is a lot less restrictive on what I can do. I
Mm-hmm.
can take the mask off and I can do lucha, and I could, if need to be, I could do, some flips off the top rope and a whole bunch of other stuff. But
Sure.
that's not what Boar is. That's not who Boar
Mm-hmm.
is. That's not what he does. So,
Mm-hmm.
working on the character, I watched a lot of Sid. I watched a lot of Razor Ramon. I watched a lot of Faces of Fear. Just those throwbacks to the late 80s to like mid 90s,
Sure, sure.
of big men and strong men, and maybe guys who you wouldn't have even thought were so big back then, like Haku. Like, he's just kind of
Yeah,
a
yeah.
regular sized dude, but now you look back on, he's like, whoa, like not just
He's
like the
giant.
toughest dude, but like that dude is thick and solid and a
Uh-huh.
beast. So, um, yeah, at my time, my thought process was looking at the landscape of Chikara. There was nobody working kind of like a monster
Uh-huh.
Nobody was working kind of that slower style with like power moves. So that was what I wanted to be. So that's what like my try to have my move set reflect.
Did did you start thinking of this character prior to starting in the business?
No, not at all. I love characters. It's probably a big reason like why I still am a character.
Mhm.
But no, this was Quack's idea at the time. Was
Okay.
a board
Were you
character.
receptive to it
I was.
initially?
I was just so ready to get in the ring by this point.
Mhm.
Seeing my peers get into the ring, and I felt I had improved as much as I could in class, without actually getting in the ring in front of
Mhm.
a paying crowd.
Sure.
I felt like I had hit that ceiling and was starting to bump my head up against that ceiling. So
Mhm.
um, yeah, I felt like I was ready to go, and I was ready to take on like whatever character needed to be done just to get in the ring
Uh-huh.
and get some reps in.
And so he just kind of, recommended this, and then you take it from there, and you could do whatever you want with the character.
Basically, yeah, yep.
Is like, oh, I'm sorry. This is if this comes out of order, but do you have someone you consider a mentor at this time, early on in your career?
Um, the closest I'd say I'd had to a mentor. I know people
Hmm.
use the phrase "wrestle dad." I never had one of those. I never really
Okay.
had a vet who would go over my matches with me or like kind of take
Uh-huh.
me along. It was very much like there is a pack of us students and we all kind of came together at the same time. So we were there
Uh-huh.
for each other without like
Oh,
really a
okay.
veteran there. But if I needed somebody's input, I would ask Chuck Taylor,
Okay.
later on Hollow Wicked,
Huh.
later on Ultramanus Black. So those would be like the three that I'd probably look for, as far as like that answer goes.
Now, do people come to you now?
Sometimes, yeah, and it makes me feel a little old, but also makes me feel good because I was lucky to be around a lot of people who now are on TV and making a good living
Uh-huh.
for themselves, and you know, had and are still having like good runs in wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
So like to be able to pass on some of that knowledge to the classes below me and to see
Sure.
them grow like that feels great.
And what goals did you have? Did you have like an initial set of goals you wanted to do in the business, like early on?
I think early on when I got in again, like the only game in town was really WWE. So,
Mm-hmm.
I think most wrestlers, especially getting in when I got in, like WWE was where you wanted to be. Being a career indie guy really wasn't like obtainable. Like
Mm-hmm.
at the time, I think the full time indie guys were like Cole Cabana, El Generico, and that was pretty much it. Everybody else was either coming off a TV run or trying to get on TV. There were no
Mm-hmm.
like just strictly indie guys. So at the time, like WWE was like where I wanted to eventually end up.
If you never made it to WWE, would you would you be okay with that?
Now, yeah, definitely.
Now, okay.
I've been able to like pay for some things in life and
Mm-hmm.
without having to dip into like my personal savings.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like to me, I've had a good little run with the character and I've been able to make a little bit of money and pay for some things and go on some trips and some other cool stuff. And
Uh-huh.
so yeah, to me, it was worth it and I'd be okay.
Did when did you start traveling with other people, with other wrestlers?
Um, Probably right around the time I made my debut. So that would have been like June 2013.
Okay.
Just started
And
getting in different carloads because the way Chikara was structured, the students would all travel together, and then
mm-hmm.
eventually over time, you could hop in a car with a vet. But yeah, so that was like the same kind of design and game plan I followed.
Um, is that like is that one of like the best parts of being a pro wrestler, like those
Yeah,
road trips?
definitely the road trips and just getting knowledge from people, learning about life inside the ring, outside of the ring, and then
Mm-hmm.
like you'll hear things that maybe you don't get to apply right then and there. but things you kind of keep in your back pocket.
Hmm.
Hollywood was giving me so much great advice, and at the time I was like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this, but you know, 5, 6, 7 years down the road, I'm like, this is what he was talking about, and like
Oh, cool.
this is like what to follow. So, um, but yeah, those road trips, I feel like I'm again like kind of in a group of guys on the indies who were some of the last to be able to like travel with vets on the road, because
Uh-huh.
now it's people are flying or people are driving alone, or you might get a carload going to town, but they're all like of the same ilk. There's not really like varying experience levels a lot of times. So
Oh, okay.
yeah,
So is that so it's kind of like not like a dying thing, but it's not as it was like in its heyday, like
yeah.
bunch
It's
of
not.
wrestlers
It's
pile in a van and
right. Yeah. I think those days are kind of going away a little bit, and it's just different. Times are
yeah,
different, and the business
and as you
evolves.
get older,
Yeah, as I get older now, I'm like, I don't want to travel with anybody except for a select number of people. And they know who they
yeah,
are.
yeah.
Those are people I make towns with. And, those are just people I, align with in life and vibe with and kind of came up with as well. So um, I'm just grumpy now that I'm old.
Okay, so Han, let's talk about the young single Boar.
Yeah.
When does the wife come into the picture?
When was that? I was around 2016. Yeah, around there.
Okay, first date. Does she find out you're a pro wrestler on the first date?
Uh, so I think everybody at my job had kind of like known or asked me like, hey, what do you do for weekends, or like, hey,
Uh-huh.
can you come to like this work party? And it's like, nope. And then like, oh, why not? And I'm like, well, I'll be in Canada, or I'll be Chicago or somewhere like that. So I think she knew before, because we met at work, so I think she knew beforehand that I was a pro wrestler.
Okay, okay. And okay, so before her, did you ever bring any like girls or dates to a show that you were wrestling on to impress them?
No, if they wanted to come like on their own accord to like come watch me, but they had to have a ticket in hand and sit in the crowd. And there was never like any women coming with me on the road or backstage or anything like that.
Okay, how long does it take for your, now wife then girlfriend to come see you wrestle for the first time?
Uh, Probably close to a year, but I
Oh,
think
okay.
that's just because I just wasn't doing shows within driving distance. Like I was just all over the East Coast and Midwest.
So is it difficult to like have a new relationship and also be traveling on the weekends?
Yeah. I think it takes a partner with a lot of understanding. One of our first, I wouldn't call it, one of our first like bump-ins or run-ins with like the
Uh-huh.
business conflicting with, like relationship things we want to do was, I think King of Trios weekend 20, again, he was 2015 or 2016.
Mhm.
But originally I wasn't going to be booked. And so she was like, hey, are you free this weekend? And I'm like, I got to double check. I double checked. I was free. I said, yeah,
Uh-huh.
you know, I'm free Labor Day weekend. She said, great. I got a surprise for you. Uh, and then later I got an email, hey, I need you for King of Trios. And so I had to cancel on her. And it was almost a wrap there because
Yeah.
she spent quite a lot on this surprise for me, but she was understanding. But it was also like, okay, if this is a pattern or something that's gonna keep happening, we're gonna have to see what we do about it, because you know in that respect, like if I say I'm free, then I'm free, and I need to like block
Uh-huh.
off that weekend. I think at the time it was, if any wrestling opportunity comes, I was going
Yeah.
to stop whatever I was doing and go right away. And now that I'm a bit older, with a kid and everything else, like it's not like
Yeah.
that anymore.
Um, has she become a wrestling fan?
Yeah, she started watching yeah, she just started watching wrestling with me, and she
Uh-huh.
quickly developed her own favorites.
Can you watch as a fan still?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh,
Um
okay.
yeah, I think that was important because I kind of saw some of the guys before my time, like some of the veterans I looked up to.
Sure.
The product had gone away where like they really weren't digging it anymore, and like that's
Hmm.
not any kind of judgment, but for me, I was like, I don't want to lose my, I guess, fandom of wrestling.
Sure.
I
Sure.
still want to be able to like watch it and enjoy it. Now, when I do watch it, I am looking at other things as opposed to like what a regular fan might be looking at. I'm looking at
Uh-huh.
footwork. I'm looking at, did this thing make sense, or what is somebody doing with their hands? All
Yeah.
sorts of
Yeah.
different things. But just being able to sit down and view wrestling is something I can still do.
Like, will you pop for things?
Yeah, yeah. My thing is like if it's cool and if it's good, then like yeah, I'm gonna react.
Yeah. Yeah. What is the personal life the most difficult part of being a pro wrestler?
Yeah, it can be. Again, I think setting up those boundaries and like establishing what the rules and boundaries are when it comes to
Hmm.
wrestling, intermingling with your personal life, and
Hmm.
making sure that uh, you don't put on your wrestling persona in your real life. Like when the mask is off, I'm dad, I'm a partner, I
Yeah.
am, whatever else. But when I'm on the road, also trying to be 100% immersed in what I'm doing as well. So,
Sure.
I'm still definitely, a dad and partner and all those things, but I try to be in the moment and
Hmm.
just focused on what I'm doing.
Do you have you or pro wrestlers in general have like a how far in the future do you have like a plan of what you want to do?
Probably no more than like a year or two out. I think
Okay.
I think anything further than that is can be like destructive to a bit. Just because the business is always evolving and life is, changing and things come into your
Hmm.
life and people come in and out of your life and circumstances change. So I think anything that's more than planned out like by a year or so can be,
Uh-huh.
at least for me, not the
Sure.
best. It's best to kind of keep goals and to keep things obtainable within a
Hmm.
decent time frame.
Yeah, that makes sense. Um, Boar, I'm going to let you go in a few minutes
All
so
right.
I can go pick up my child.
Oh, great.
Um, I don't necessarily want to. I want my wife to do it, but
We gotta
whatever.
keep gotta
I
keep home happy.
Yeah, has your wife have these words ever come out of your wife's mouth? I've had it.
No, thankfully not.
Oh, okay,
No, no,
good, good.
no.
I haven't heard it yet. I could sense it was like almost coming out of the mouth at one point. But before I let you go, can I ask you some five non-related yes or no, non-wrestling related yes or no questions?
Yeah, let's roll.
All right, cool. Are you part of any civilian militia?
No,
Awesome. Can you butcher a pig?
no,
Okay. For $2.3 million, would you change your in-ring name to Brad Marcus? My name.
absolutely.
Awesome. Have you ever ruined Christmas for someone?
Yes,
Oh, really? Can you give
yes,
detail on that?
absolutely. Yeah, I was dating a
Let's hear
girl.
this.
I was dating a
Uh-huh.
girl. This is many moons ago.
Okay.
Um, and I'm very easygoing. I'm pretty laid back. She
Uh-huh.
was kind of the opposite. And so what was I doing? I was so she had moved like an hour away or so with her family,
Okay.
and it was Christmas Eve. It was Christmas Eve, and I was coming back from Virginia or some kind of road trip,
Okay.
and I was supposed to go to her house Christmas Eve night and do Christmas
Okay.
morning there.
Okay.
But the weather was really bad, snowstorm. I was just trying to get home, so I said, "Hey,
Yeah.
got to change the plans. I will be there Christmas Day, but as far as the morning, I just want to get home, be in one piece, let the storm come and go,
Mm-hmm.
regroup, change of plans." That was
Sure.
not good for her. She was not down with that. And she's like, if you're always going to be on the road and changing things up, you know, I don't know if I can do it. And I said, well, bye. So I broke up with a girl on Christmas Eve.
Oh my God. Yeah,
Yeah.
so you completely ruined her next day as well,
Yeah.
Christmas Day.
Yeah.
New Year's probably wasn't fun for her as well.
I've broken up with a girl on New Year's as well.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay, but I respect that though. Um, Is the last question, is there a circumstance you could see where you would like pull out your eyelashes?
Hopefully not. If I don't know if it depended on survival, maybe I would, but
Yeah. Oh, okay. That's a really good answer. I didn't think of. Yeah, you don't want to pull them out. I saw a kid used to do that. It was odd. But you passed 5 for 5.
all right.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Where are you? Where are you resting? I want to say through the rest of the year, but are you resting between now and January 1st?
Yeah, so I believe the date is December 18th. I'll be down at SWO
Okay.
Wrestling in Seven Valleys, PA. I'll be tag teaming with my partner, Erica Lee. We'll be taking on the goons of Miles Millennium and that dastardly Killian McMurphy.
Oh, cool.
And I think that wraps up my 2021. And then
Uh-huh.
for 2022, those dates are yet to be announced, but I'll be up and down the East Coast in 2022 in the early
Sure.
part.
Is weather like the big issue?
Yeah, I think as I'm getting a little bit older, I'm a little bit more selective with like where I'm going at what time of the year.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's just again, that's if I was younger, I would just hop in the car and no big deal, go do it. But now that I'm a
Yeah,
bit
yeah.
older, I got things to think about like insurance and getting back home and paying for a
Dependence.
car and dependence. Exactly.
um. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. It was fun talking to you. Um, God, there was one more thing I wanted to ask you before I let you go, and I can't remember. Damn it. But maybe it'll come to me. But I hope you have a great rest of the year. I hope you have a Merry Christmas. Oh, this is what I want to tell you, and I totally forgot. This is my 100th episode. Uh,
Oh,
this
congratulations!
interview. Oh, thank you. But I didn't want to tell you early because I didn't want to throw you off. But
I work on the
I
fly,
didn't want to put
so
any pressure. You did great. But yeah, stay safe. Hope you have a great Christmas and a happy and healthy New Year to you and your family. And I'll certainly be looking for you in 2022. And I may
appreciate
come calling on you.
appreciate it. Thanks for having me on, and again, congratulations on episode 100 to you and the listeners. So thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. All right. You take care.
You too. Thank you.
All right. Bye.